This week in Helldivers 2 has seen a strong mix of pretty much everything. A new Warbond, a patch update, and a tank have all landed, with some of it seeing mixed results. But the real intriguing piece of news are the transmissions from our metallic foes, the Automatons, leading up to a mysterious website, a decoder ring, and a timer. What's it counting down to? That's what I want to take a look at today, along with everything else we saw this week, including today's Year 2 anniversary. If you feel like supporting the channel, you know what to do. And let's dive on in. Oh my lord, things are building up so damn fast inside Helldivers 2 right now, and this week has felt like one long acceleration. Starting off just a few days ago when we got our first glimpse of the March to Cyberstan trailer, showing the Helldivers pulling off the reverse of the Illuminate offensive on Super Earth, as this time we are defending through sheer overwhelming offense. Now, of course, to go to the heart of socialism on Cyberstan, we needed more firepower, and we received reinforcements in the form of the Siegebreakers Warbond and Bastion Tank killer. I broke down Siegebreakers with a full tier list video, link in the video description by the way, as are all my sources for today's video. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed using the hammer, the Halo shield, the trident, and the leveler, while the GL belt fed and armor passive were poop tier or just slightly above it. Overall, I found Siegebreakers to be a ton of fun, and for someone like me that could appreciate what Arrowhead was doing with Redacted Regiment while not personally enjoying it, Siegebreakers and its loud and raucous gear was right up my alley. The Bastion Tank, though, has been quite a source of controversy among the Helldiver fandom. You see, it's hard to steer, and there's a delay when attempting to rotate it. Even small rocks and environmental objects block its path. It requires a crew to use it efficiently, as the turret only has about 15 to 20 degrees of rotation. And if the driver is out of touch, hitting priority targets is not going to happen. But the comment I see most goes something more like this. We've waited 2 years for a tank, we finally get a tank, and it has paper-thin armor, and it gets liquefied in 3 seconds flat. And by the way, if that comment is exactly how you are feeling about the tank, drop a comment right now about your worst experience so far with the Bastion. Now, the tank situation is a combination of multiple factors. The first of which is that it just isn't heavily armored enough to begin with, only showing medium armor values or AP3 on all sides, with some parts showing 100% durable damage percentages, which sounds like a great thing until you look over the patch notes from earlier this week, where Arrowhead buffed basically any sort of bot rockets or overseer artillery barrages durable damage versus all of our vehicles. This made the tank able to fare well enough versus laser fire and melee attacks, but once the rockets or cannon strikes come flying in, the tank was soon to be lit on fire and nuked. Worst still was the effects these durable damage enemy buffs had on our FRV and exosuits, which were already coated in papier-mâché armor to begin with. Now, I've seen and read both sides of this argument. Number one, for the tank being the way it is, and number two, from other players stating how the tank must be improved and done so ASAP. I've also read your comments about the durable damage buffs and how it's made exosuits, especially in bot missions, an item you simply will not equip. This is a discussion that's being held at all levels of the player base, and I'm still testing and mulling over what Arrowhead did and why. To see them make those durable damage changes that directly affected the mechs, even though a majority of the player base has been requesting for their armor to be buffed, felt to some like a big league slap in the face. Zeroing in on the tank, and I found that it can be very effective, even showing ruthless aggression if the driver-gunner combo is in harmony and the crew understands what the Bastion's limitations are. That main cannon is nasty, and 2,000 rounds of heavy armor pen HMG ammo can shred most enemies. But on the flip side, it's not an assault vehicle, and if your driver just pins the throttle wide open and goes John Rambo into a heavily fortified bot base, 10 out of 10 times you're going to get nuked. Switching gears, and I wanted to go back to this week, leading up to today, as we've seen Arrowhead bombard the player base with these Automaton binary codes that when translated led to some very interesting phrases. Things like, "Open your eyes, you are not heroes," and "Freedom, we have never experienced freedom," came flying towards Super Earth from bot regions unknown. The recreation, though, of the Helldivers intro cinematic, but showing the Helldivers come rolling up and laying the beatdown on a bot family unit was pretty epic. Also, the piece that is everyone talking right now are the artwork propaganda posters that are arriving as well. And thanks to the Helldivers player base, you started hitting them all inch by inch under a microscope, and it turns out found fragments of a QR code buried in each. So far, for the past 3 days, we've seen the Remember the Fallen, Save Cyberstan, and Don't Enlist posters, which are all individually pieces of Helldivers lore, with today's binary message translating to, "What you call celebration is our sorrow." But it seems that the Helldiver community has now deciphered those mysterious QR codes, and when assembled, they lead to a functioning website. Now here's where it gets very juicy, because when you first enter this site, it says, "Enter. The following experience is not suitable for those sensitive to light or democratic opinions." And you can't hear it here, but they've got the Automaton in-game theme music playing in the background as well. Pressing enter brings you to this bot symbol and what looks like some sort of scrolling text, which might be an actual countdown. And if you click on the text, it brings you to this spinning wheel of Automaton symbols. Now, it looks like someone has already deciphered this wheel, and once translated, it does indeed show a countdown. A countdown to what? We don't yet know, but a wild ARG event for sure. Does this mean the bots are coming for us when the timer hits 0? Or does this mean our assault on them begins once the countdown reaches the bottom? I don't know, but something is set to happen in just under 24 hours. And there may be a small wrinkle, though, in the plan, considering we can't yet achieve a beachhead to actually launch a full-out attack on Cyberstan. Last night, which was Saturday evening, EST, I was smashing that join random party button, trying to help out Managed Democracy in any way I could, and got in some really good dives with some of you out there. Chort Bay was our playground, which, as of this morning, looks like we're about to defend from the bot offensive coming from Morocco, with the DSS in low orbit overhead. Now, when I grabbed my footage a couple of hours ago, we had over 153,000 divers online and putting in work, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to pull this one off. I know, outside of some miracle happening on either Aurora Bay or Morocco. Now, both of these planets have high resistance rates, and at one point, a few days ago, when we were hitting Aurora Bay in force, I might have said this was going to happen, but with a day and a half to go, and neither of these, again, high resistance planets showing any sort of progress, it's going to take a General Brash type of miracle to pull off this major order. Which is a shame, because today, February 8th, is Helldiver 2's second anniversary. And man, what a wild roller coaster we've all been on, right? We've seen over the past 2 years events like when we pushed the bots clear off the map, only to see them come roaring back. John Helldiver shadow dropped the Illuminate on Calypso while on stage at the Game Awards. We've defended Super Earth from the Squid. The Meridian Wormhole has nuked several planets. We nuked Penta. The brutal fight on Malevelon Creek became lore, and Xbox joined our diver ranks. Not to mention, the Helldiver fandom took on Sony and made such a ruckus it forced them to backtrack their account logging requirements. There's been just too many "it's so over, we're so back" moments to recount here and do them justice, but yeah, Helldivers has earned every inch of ground and success while rocketing into the stratosphere, becoming Sony's fastest selling game of all time. But the big and current question surrounding Helldivers is, what are we looking at with this Automaton timer? Is this a matter of them hitting us, or will we be able to break through on either AB or Morocco and begin our assault on Cyberstan before we run through the entirety of the 200 million reinforcements we were allotted as this MO began? Also, I know a lot of you have enjoyed the 1-2 combo of the Redacted Regiment Warbond with the commando missions, and more recently, Siege Breakers. But the question still remains, can Arrowhead continue this pace of Warbonds, updates, and new content? they've rightfully earned that community meme of "it's so over, we're so back" for a reason. And I think we're all kind of waiting with bated breath for this week. Is this going to be the second coming of the Into the Untested update, or are we looking at something more along the lines of the defense of Super Earth? Overall, though, the game's been running pretty well outside of what I saw last night on Short Bay versus the bots in the acid rainstorms on those 20-minute defense missions, which dropped my FPS down to about 15 to 25. But I also have to recognize the fact that the last two Warbonds have connected fairly well with the player base. Suppressors are finally suppressing. We have Hulk surges, and outside of the durable damage changes in the last patch, along with the issues surrounding the Bastion Tank, it's been pretty good eating inside Helldivers. But here's where I humbly ask for your assistance. Drop a comment about your thoughts on anything Helldivers. It could be bugs, performance issues, suggestions, or just praise. It's your call. Just drop a comment. Also, if you're on mobile, take advantage of the swipe to hype function. Remember to hit subscribe and to ring the notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. I'd like to throw out a huge and heartfelt thanks to all of our channel members, for without your support, content like this would not be possible. And until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer signing off.